Welcome to MoobsCast, the YouTube ever-growing podcast WWE show. Welcome along, everybody. How are we doing this week? Have we watched any Raw? Have we watched SmackDown? Have we watched NXT? What have we thought about the last week in WWE? Well, there's been no more releases. That's probably a good sign. However, there does seem to be one coming up on the cards. I'm not going to go into it because I don't have a lot of money and I'm not being sued for nobody. But the rumours are, with some things that have happened, Mr. Adam Rose won't be far away. Skinny doesn't really do anything and give anything to the company anyway. He came in as obviously a party guy, didn't kind of work. He went to a social outcast, pretty funny and all like that, but he's never going to be anything special, is he? Let's be. But anyway, due to personal things that have happened, apparently by the sounds of it, there's a chance he could be released. If he does, he does. If he doesn't, he doesn't. On them things. So we're on the build-up to Extreme Rules. We'll talk more about Extreme Rules after. I'll give you my predictions on what I believe is going to happen match by match. Don't forget there will be a podcast next Monday for the Extreme Rules. I'll watch it Sunday night. We have it late. It's going to be 1 a.m. here, but there will be a podcast. I have got a guy lined up to come in. Hopefully he's still up for it. So if he's watching it, don't forget you're on next week. And then there'll obviously be Raw Monday. Well, it'll be on Monday night, and then it'll be uploaded Tuesday, Wednesday time again as usual. So, Extreme Rules is coming up. This was the last Raw before Extreme Rules. I thought it was better than last week, but I was still expecting a lot more from certain things. I mean, the way it ended for me was like, really? You're trying to get Roman Reigns over as the guy, and you end with that. Okay. Now, not saying I'm an expert in how WWE should be written, but I'll always give my opinion. I just thought it was a bullcrap ending. I didn't see the point in it. But anyway, so we open the show with Mr. AJ Styles. Now, I like AJ. I'm not his biggest fan. I like AJ. But I think this storyline going on as long as it has proved that Roman Reigns... We always knew Roman Reigns was not great on the mic. We knew that. Fair enough. But I also believe AJ Styles was weak on the mic last night as well. Nothing in ring. Not saying nothing about him in ring. But I thought the whole segment was... is cheesy the right word, or just not believable? Very old-fashioned and very weak mic work from both, if I'm honest. Which is a shame because AJ's good at what AJ does. Now, maybe in New Japan and some of the others that he's been in, he can get away with not having to talk on the mic because he's so good in ring. But the problem is in WWE, Vince likes a talker as much as he likes a fighter. And I don't think the whole promo thing... I think he needs acting lessons, if I'm totally honest. But at the point of AJ's life, is he really going to bother going and getting acting lessons? It just kind of wasn't believable. And I still stick by the word... You know what? Screw it. I stick by the word cheesy as well. It came across as very cheesy. So yeah, that kind of bummed me out a bit. And then we got them two in the ring. Oh, I'm going to do this to you. I'm going to do that to you. Blah, blah, blah. Roman says that he brought the club in to take the belt off him. AJ denies it. But then obviously the club music kicks in. They walk down the ramp. And next minute they're pointing behind, telling AJ, because he's looking at them, putting him around. He turns around and he gets a smack in the jaw from Roman Reigns with the Usos at the side of him. Now I am going to say one thing. Not necessarily. This is purely preference, but I quite like the way the Usos looked Monday night. I thought the face paint, it was very dark. I don't know, it was different. It wasn't the same sort of colour we normally see the Usos in. I know that's just a tiny little thing and people probably won't be bothered about that, but I thought the face paint looked really good. And without going too much into what happened during the match later, the Usos like rubbed it all in their face as well. I mean, I think it was whoever... I think it's Jay. Let's just say Jay. Whoever didn't start the match, you watch the second, when he tags his brother to come in, he just goes like this and rubs it in his face before he even does anything. It was a very sort of dark side to the Usos. It was like, at one point, it was like a glimmer of, are these guys going to be a heel? because it wasn't coming across that they was like, I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me if we had a heel turn soon from the Usos. But yeah, it was they looked pretty cool actually, and yeah, I thought they looked really really cool. It was different. So if they ever go heel, that's probably the way I go with them, with the dark paint and stuff like that. But yeah, that was pretty cool. So yeah, anyway, the club pulls AJ away. Roman and Usos are still stood in the ring, and to be honest, that was the gist of it all. There was nothing. It didn't shine. The promo isn't. I can't say, oh yeah, it was a fantastic start to Monday Night Raw. It was a great promo. They did this, they did that, because kind of didn't get going. If I'm totally honest with you, yeah, it was all right, but there's a lot more work to be done. I hope this is the ending to the story. I hope they don't keep it going. I kind of hope somebody turns up at Extreme Rules and screws AJ, and it turns out that they're with the club and it was all a setup for AJ in the first place anyway. That'd be probably the ideal storyline, I think. What they do with Roman next, I have my ideas. I hope they go with it, and I will share my ideas later. Anyway, moving on. So we start off with... there's no structure to what match. I'm just kind of going off the match because there was a few things that didn't interest me at all. But we're going to the like a match that really I enjoyed. So on SmackDown last week, Zayn and Cesaro basically got in a scuffle, which led to they accidentally kicked each other and stuff like that, kind of crap. Which led to the Miz and Owens winning on Thursday night. So on Monday night, Cesaro had a 1v1 match versus Zayn. Now, Miz was at ringside with his missus. Can't remember her name. She's that unimportant. And actually, she doesn't even add anything anymore. At one point, she was on the mic, which she's not even doing that. She didn't even do that last night. There is actually no point to her being there. The only reason she's there is because obviously Miz wants to spend time with his wife while he's travelling the road, which is fine. But she adds nothing to the story, in my honest opinion. And so yeah, you got Miz and his missus on one side of the announce table chatting away, and you got Owens on the other side. Now it was really really good what they did, because they was back and forth in a lot. It was a lot of sort of like, you know, bit of lipping and sort of, you know, really that kind of stuff. And then obviously Cesaro and Zayn start fighting. We don't really get much into the match. I think they do like about 5-6 moves between them. And the next thing, Miz decides to walk off. Owens decides to walk off, and Miz jumps him. They end up scrapping. They end up in the ring. They all end up scrapping. So, you know, the music kicks in. Here comes the money. Shane O'Mac. Good to see you, Shane. So he comes out and says, oh, let's have a tag team match. And he basically does the tag team that was last Thursday. It was like, again? So, yeah, it was going to be Miz and Owens versus Zayn and Cesaro. But wait, there's a twist. This is where it gets good. Stephanie's music kicks in and comes out, stands at the top of the ramp and says to Shane, do you know what, Shane, that's a really good idea, but we had that last week. So why don't we have something different? So she decides to set up a match for that night, well, for there and then, of The Miz and Cesaro versus the two ex-best friends who now are mortal enemies and don't like each other, Owens and Zayn. Now, that was fun. And I thought, wow. You know, purely because they're friends, obviously, off camera, so they're going to know what to do and things like that. They trust each other and things like that. Owens refuses and says, I'm not doing it, to which Stephanie points out if he doesn't, or if he walks off and doesn't see out the match, he won't be fighting Sunday night. That's fine. Put him in a title competition with Roman Reigns then. But anyway, he wanted to be obviously in there. So they set up the tag match, and it was an epic match. It really was. And I say it every week, and you're probably bored of me saying it, but them three and The Miz are doing an amazing job. Or the three of them are doing an amazing job, then The Miz is in there as well. But they are, to be fair, I am more excited than anything else for the IC match. the way the match went was great. Their chemistry all between them. I mean, the way that they kept they wasn't tagging each other. They was hitting each other to get in. There was one point where Cesaro had got Owens, and they ended up with a few arm bars and a rollover and all that thing. And Zayn's just stood on the side of the ropes going, like Kevin Owens looks at him and he just goes, "You're doing a great job." Really sarcastically. So Owens just walks up to him, smacks him on like the shoulder and says, "Well, you go and do better." So yeah, it was really, really good though. And it ended with a big scuffle, everybody falling out again. But in the end, it came out that Zayn pinned The Miz for the title. Owens then jumps for the title, for the win. I do apologise. Owens then jumps Zayn and says, "I won that match," blah, 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 and all this, like, picks up the belt, all that sort of stuff. But it's set up nicely. Now, what do I think is going to happen in the IC title match at Extreme Rules? For me, there is only 3 possible outcomes, because I don't think Kevin Owens wins it. I don't believe Kevin Owens walks away from Extreme Rules with the IC title, because I still believe he could be next for Roman Reigns. If not, he could be next for another big one in between. Like, he could be next for AJ Styles or something like that. Either way, I don't believe Kevin Owens walks out. The one I hope they don't do is The Miz keeps, because I just don't see the point in that. I think everybody's excited for this new era. And I don't think keeping it on The Miz is no. It wouldn't sell. The other one is Cesaro, which I would quite happily Cesaro. I know he's been titled before, and there's a lot of people out there saying no, we don't want him as an IC champion because we want to see him grow, and so do I. But it's an option, and I've got to admit it's an option. He's came back from injury. It's a very possibility he could walk out Sunday night with the title, and if he does, that's fine. The third option, which I hope they do, but I don't think they will, because I don't think they think he's ready, but I really do hope they do, is obviously Sami Zayn. Now, Sami Zayn is part of this new era, or the NXT era, or the Indie era, whatever 3 names you want to call it, or even if you've got a different name, that's the names we use here. But Sami Zayn is part of this new era, and I think it's a very good possibility he walks out as the guy who had to fight to get into the match. The fact he pinned Miz, the fact he probably is a bit of an underdog as well compared to the other 3 of them. But I think Sami Zayn is the way forward for the Intercontinental title picture. Plus also from the fact that they've already put it on Owens from being NXT and being champion. Zayn would probably have had it on him first if it had not been for the injury that when he fought Cena. So it's like they're kind of... I wouldn't be surprised if they're mirroring whatever Owens does. Zayn's going to do as well, until eventually, obviously they're both going to be fighting in the title picture. But yeah, that's where I would go, if I'm totally honest. Yeah, that's where I go. Stick it on Sami Zayn. Come on, Vince, it makes sense. Let's talk about the new tag team, WWE. Now, are we calling them Epico and Primo again, are we? Them people who went away and have been away for that long, apart from when they came with the bull and was El Matadores. Seriously, do you think we're thick? Stop pretending that we are thick. We all knew it was them. But then, to be fair, that's why Michael Cole never mentioned that they'd been anywhere. But anyway, stupid promos. Stupid entrance. And I don't see it. I really don't see anything about them other than a tag team that's stuck in there to make the numbers up, which is what they was with El Matadores, which is what they was when there was Epico and Primo for the first time. And they've called themselves the Shining Stars. Really? And on their debut match, they put them with 2 local jobbers. Great. Pointless. Let's move on. Let's move on to something else that's really pointless as well. And to me, it is really pointless because I don't know. Maybe it's me, or maybe I'm getting old, and it's just But the whole Golden Truth thing. What? Seriously? Is it just a filler? Maybe I'm just getting old and miserable. I don't know. But really. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's more entertaining than the Shining Stars. Bollocks. Sorry, I do apologise if there are any children watching. I sometimes slip up. I do apologise. It's just rubbish. What's the point to it? I mean, they lost their first match against what they call Breezango. What? Holy crap. It's the tag division. Bear in mind, I think the tag team division's looking the best it's looked with the likes of New Day and Enzo and Cass. Vaudevillains, even though I don't believe they've got shelf life, but Vaudevillain, Dudley's. The tag team division is looking the best it's looked for a long time. And I mean for a long time because the divisions looked awful for a very, very, very long time. But really, Golden Truth, Breezango, and the Shining Stars. I don't see it. No. So yeah, I don't see shelf life in any answer. So anyway, I wish I had some music because I want to go on to the next part. I haven't got the music for it, but let me sing it for you. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. We have a new match. We have a new whatever. We have something new to get excited about. Things like, we haven't seen stuff since, like, when you get the Hells in a Cells, TLC matches, stuff like that. We've got a new one. And it looks amazing. I'm really excited. And I wasn't even buzzing for the Jericho versus Ambrose match. But we now have an Asylum match, which is basically, I know it's not much, it's just they've stuck a name on it, but it's basically a steel cage. Up the top, there was like a straight jacket, flower pot, a mop and bucket. What else was up there? Like a strap that you tie the hands together, all that kind of stuff. And basically, it was one of them that Jericho said he was going to make Ambrose apologise for what he did to his coat. He was being a bit of a dick. Then Ambrose comes out, does the promo, and pretty much knocked it out of the park, if I'm totally honest, with Ambrose and the promo. I don't think anybody was excited for another match, but I think after last night, like I say, I repeat, they knocked it out of the park, and I thought it was fantastic. Jericho comes out and says, look, you're going to apologise. Ambrose refuses to apologise and says, Shane McMahon says we can have a match. Do you fancy a match? Oh, Jericho's like, yeah, I'll have a match with you, no problem. I'll show you who the lunatic is. You don't know how crazy I am and things like that. So Ambrose says, wait, you didn't let me finish, but you've accepted anyway, so it was always going to happen. And Ambrose says, so we're having a match. And he's like, yeah. So I haven't told you what match it is. So Jericho's like, what? And then he just points up. And all the lights start flashing. And you see a cage. And I thought, they're having a steel cage match, or they'll have an NLL in Cell match. And then as it gets down, you start seeing this extra bit on the top with all the stuff on. It's like, oh. And Ambrose fills everybody in. And honestly, I love it when they try new matches out. I'm one that, like, if they had tried a Hell in a Cell out, would have never had a Hell in a Cell. It's about time we had a new match that we'll see quite often. Like Ambrose will pull it, he'll have quite a few fights over his career in an Asylum match. And I'm really looking forward to it now. I think it's going to be brutal. I don't know if they'll be allowed to bleed. I don't know what they'll be allowed to do, because even though we're in the new era, don't forget, we are still in the PG era. Don't forget that, people. They're allowing more things, but it's still PG. But yeah, I'm excited. I really, really am excited for this new match and to see how epic it's going to be. And to be honest, who better to create to be the first participant of a new match than Chris Jericho? As much as he is past his sell-by date, I said it last week, I believe Jericho is past his sell-by date. There's no point giving him a push. There's no point doing much else to him. But purely for the match and the fact that he is a pro and he will break Ambrose in properly, I'm looking forward to it. So yeah. So moving on. We saw the in-ring debut of Dana Brooke. I don't want to be unfair. Maybe she was nervous, but I don't think she kind of. She botched a few times. I thought Becky looked good. I thought Dana looked all right. But I don't know. There was a few moves in the way she took moves and the way she gave out moves that didn't look natural. I think there's potential. I can definitely see potential. I'm just not sure if I would put it down to maybe first night nerves. Yeah, I'd put it down to first night nerves and just kind of see where we go from there. As I've openly said before, I am a big fan of this new women's division. I'm not a big fan of the old ones. People like Natalia, Brie, Alicia Fox, all the all up until these new ones that are coming through now. I wasn't a fan of any of them. I mean, I'm dreading the thought that they're going to stick the women's title on Natalia on Sunday because we're in a new era. But yet they're using. In fact, no, I'm not. We'll talk about that. Let's give Dana and Becky the fair crack. So anyway, they had a match. It was a decent match. I thought Becky looked really, really good. I thought Dana looked okay, but like I said earlier, I just felt there was a few botches in there from Dana. And obviously, and then they mentioned, and it was a weird one actually, because obviously they was building up END, Emma and Dana. But then we just got an announcement that Emma had got a back injury and is out for an indefinite space of time. Quite strange. They just say, oh, she's out for 6 months, or she's out for a week, or she's out with like Enzo with concussion and we're not sure when she's going to be back. But they just said Emma's injured and she's out for an indefinite space of time, and that was it. There was no other mention. I thought, oh, that's a bit strange. Okay, fair enough. But so they're obviously going to go with Dana versus Becky, and let's just hope that gets better. But anyway, Dana's obviously not going to lose on the first night on Raw. She does a roll-up, sit-down, and basically gets the victory. And it'll just set up for a little bit more of that feud. Maybe that's a good way of doing it anyway. But I have one question with regards this women's division. Well, with regards to the match and obviously the contract signing as well. Here's one question for you. Where's Sasha? Seriously? Where's Sasha Banks? Am I missing something? Did she get injured and I missed it? Because the crowd, I even heard a chant of "We want Sasha." But where is she? I don't know. If somebody knows where she is, please let us know. Comment section as always in the bottom. But yeah, let us know where Sasha is, please. If it's a case that she's not injured and they're just not using her. Really? But anyway, so I will look into it more. Like I say, if you guys know she's injured, then just let us know. Comment in the comments box and just say, yeah, she's injured, she's out till then, or nope, she's not injured, we just don't know where she is. Anyway, moving on to my favourite part of the night. The funniest part of the night, and it really was funny. It's a new day, yes it is. So they came out and they were talking about the bygone era, obviously with the vaudevillains and everything. They had this thing behind with this black sheet on, and they take this plastic sheet off, and it's an old refrigerator box that Xavier's turned into a time machine. I mean, there were some funny jokes in there, like when Biggie turned around and went, "Is that a keyboard? Is that the keyboard? Is that your mum's keyboard?" Yeah. Why is it sticky? Little jokes like that was cracking. So anyway, they was going. Xavier's saying, "Look, we're going to go back in time, and this and that. We're going to go back to the bygone era." Now, they go in the box. They say they're going back in time. The screen goes all fuzzy, the lights and everything, and, to make you believe they're going back in time. And the next thing, Kofi's own music kicks in, and Kofi walks out, puts on this Jamaican accent, starts doing the boom, boom, boom sort of stuff. And was like, yes, I'm back, and all this lot. And as they say, oh, we've not gone back far enough, they drag him in, and Kofi's shouting, no, don't take me back, 2009 was my best year. And honestly, I was absolutely rolling on the floor. I thought it was absolutely brilliant. And it was good to have that sort of dig in, because obviously Kofi had been in longer. It was that little dig as well at the same time. I thought it was really, really good. I really, really enjoyed the promo. So anyway, they're going back in time again. come back out of the box, and they've all got these fake moustaches on, and instead of bootios, they've got derriere squares. Kofi pulls out his cell phone, and it's like an old-fashioned big telephone that you know, like, hello, one of them. But yeah, it was really, really great. And then the vaudevillains come in. Now, this is what they needed to do with them. What they are doing with them is what they needed to do with them. They wanted them as a heel tag team. When they first debuted, there was no reaction to them whatsoever. There was hardly any cheers. There was hardly any boos. There was like nothing. I still believe that, obviously, the Dudleys was due to screw Enzo and Cash out the last pay-per-view. And obviously, that was going to set up the Dudleys versus Enzo and Cash, and then the Vaudevillains would win, setting up the Vaudevillains versus the New Day for the titles. I do believe they're going to take the titles off the New Day on Sunday and give them the Vaudevillains. But anyway, the Vaudevillains comes in, interrupts, beats all them up, does their finishing manoeuvres and signature moves and all that. The fans start booing them because they've interrupted a great promo. Now, that's exactly what they wanted to do it. I don't believe the Vaudevillains will be around in 5 years' time. I don't believe they'll be around in 3 years' time. If they make 5 years, then I'll be absolutely impressed. I don't believe they've got a shelf life, but they need a very good heel tag team. They had the New Day, but they got such a pop that they couldn't keep them as a heel. I mean, the New Day technically aren't a face. They're tweeners. But, you know, they're faces at the minute because the fans love them. So, yeah, what they've done, I will give WWE a round of applause. They needed to make the Vaudevillains absolute dicks that nobody liked. That peed people off for interrupting the New Day and all that sort of stuff. And they've done exactly that. And like I say, my prediction on Sunday is I think they'll stick them on the Vaudevillains. I really do. So we got... next up, we've got the tag team match, the club versus the Usos. I touched on it a bit earlier about the Usos with the black paint, rubbing it in the face and all that kind of stuff. The club had AJ in their corner. Usos had Roman in their corner. It was the club versus the Bloodline. I think they're called the Blood. Yeah, the Bloodline. That was what they were calling them. The only thing is, if you're going to do that, you need to bring some other family members in. But then... it's kind of one of them. What do you guys think? Would you rather them just see the three they've got, of obviously family, as it is? Or would you have liked to see, if they're going to do where their family, would you like to see, I mean, we'd always like to see The Rock back, but would you like to see Rikishi come in and maybe do a promo with his boys and Roman? Maybe Seeker? You know, would you like to see some... me personally, I'd like to see some of the Samoan family in, get them in there, get a storyline going with regards to the family. Yes, there is The Rock in there, and it'd be great to see him back, but if they don't want to use The Rock because Roman wants to do it on his own, that's fine. But there's still plenty of family and legends within that family that they could use without having to use The Rock. But anyway, back to the match. I thought the match was really, really good. I thought both tag teams shined. Gallows and Anderson, top draw, as always, which is the reason why they're in the WWE. Usos do everything they do great. I'm assuming they're fighting at Extreme Rules. Surely. That's surely a match at Extreme Rules. Maybe not. But anyway, it was a cracking match. Ended up with the Usos winning, obviously, which I don't see the point in that myself, but you know, they put it on the Usos. Roman comes in. AJ, obviously, you know, they all have a scuffle in the end. Roman hits AJ with a chair. Then AJ gets his own back. AJ picks up the chair, repeatedly beats Roman with it. And I've always said this about Roman Reigns. If you want someone to sell a move for you, so, you know, if you want someone who's going to make you look good when you give them a chair, you need Roman Reigns. He is the best move taker in that company. The way he, like, you know, even a chair shot to the ribs, you know, the way he sells it is absolutely fantastic. He's not great at everything else, but he can sell a move. So yeah, it's AJ beats him with the chair a bit, and then eventually it's him with a Styles Clash, looks at the belt, and that's kind of the end of that. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but if they're trying to get Roman over, if they're trying to make him a legitimate champion, if they're trying to make it where people are excited for the WWE title match, why was that not the ending? Why would you do a women's contract match with Natalya, who's not part of the new era because she's old school? She's part of the Divas division that didn't sell, but they have that as the ending, and they don't have Roman and AJ. Surely that needs to be the ending of Raw to get everybody excited for the title picture. Am I wrong? Am I completely wrong? I don't believe I am. I believe that should have been the ending to Raw. To me, one of them is always stood with like their arms in the air with the belt or something like that. But to make that not even last is absolute crazy. And I think WWE have dropped a ball. Prediction for Extreme Rules is Roman wins. Absolutely, Roman wins. There is no way Roman Reigns is not working out at Extreme Rules with the title. I wouldn't be surprised now there's 3 of them in the club if the Wyatts don't take out the club and we end up with the club versus Wyatts. I think that's a call. It wouldn't shock me if the other members of the Bullet Club well, they're called the Club, but Bullet Club or Balor Club, wouldn't surprise me if one more or something turns up. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen to him. Surely Roman's probably going to win clean. I'm still going to predict the Wyatts might come in, though, and get an involvement in with the club, and that could be the next up for AJ. For Roman Reigns, they could go a few ways, but I think Kevin Owens. I think Kevin Owens will be the next person to fight Roman Reigns. I hope they're going to put the title on Kevin Owens, because I think he's probably the man who can take the company forward. Yeah, I mean, Cena's not due back yet. Well, Cena's due back. Is it 2 weeks' time? Well, it was 2 weeks last week. Can't see it being Cena unless they're just going to vamp him the week after. I mean, if they put him on Cena, you've basically got John Cena versus John Cena 2.0 with regards to the fans. Yeah, I would say Kevin Owens, possibly Cena. I don't see anybody else unless Rollins comes back, but I don't think Rollins is anywhere near ready yet anyway. But it was weird how we got a chant of "We want Rollins" on Monday night. I don't know if you heard it when Roman said, "You ain't got Rollins, you've got me." Thought it was a strange one. Leading up to, I thought he was going to be an handicap match. This is why I believe that Enzo and Cash was due to get screwed by the Dudleys and then obviously feud with the Dudleys. So early on, we had Bubba Ray and Devon who walked into Stephanie who said, "Look, you want to build a new area? We'll, let the guys from the Attitude Era show you what we can do." And they asked for a couple of jobbers, to which Shane and Stephanie said, "Nah, we're not going to give you that." Shane says, "One of you two can fight. You can choose who, and you'll fight against Big Cass, basically." Well, the way they actually went, you'll fight against somebody who is 7 feet tall, and you can't teach that. That's the way he did it. So it was like, right, fair enough. And then, obviously, Big Cass music kicks in. Cass walks out, does a promo. I say nothing against Big Cass. Really, really like him. He needs Enzo back, though. He's not great on the mic. He's good, but he's not great. I thought he handled it pretty well, though. I mean, some of the put-downs was great. He really, really got, the point was to get over and annoy the Dudley boys. So the Dudleys come down. We still don't know who's fighting. Next thing, obviously, Devon ends up in the ring, so it's clearly Devon who's fighting him. The match lasted about 2 minutes. Bubba was going to get the table out. It kind of doesn't happen. The odd move. It ends up with Devon goes up to the ropes and him and Bubba end up face to face, nearly hitting each other. Big Cass walks in, big boot Devon straight out, and then does his finisher on. Knocks Bubba out with the big boot. Takes out Devon with a finisher. 1, 2, 3, game over. Nice quick fight. Kept it going. Still built that match up ready for when Enzo's back. You can't predict the match. You can't say how good the match was because it didn't really do anything. But it was a decent segment. They've got to try and keep the hype going on Enzo and Cash, and that's pretty much what they did. They got it. They came up with an idea. They did it. But well done, Big Cass. Well done. What you're doing. Loving you, to be quite frank. Yeah. Then we had a pointless match. Absolutely pointless. Not sold on it. Not even interested in talking about it. Kalisto versus Del Boro. Rusev comes down after beating Sin Cara up. They all fall out. Del Toro gets the win. That's all I'm saying about that, because he really is not interested in me whatsoever. I don't like Del Rio at the best of times. I like Rusev, but I don't think he's selling what they're doing right this very minute enough. Kalisto I like, but they're not giving him any opponent worth talking about. So let's just leave that at that. So then we come to the final of Monday Night Raw. And I can see why they did it. They want to give the divas or the women time. They want to be given equal time, purely after what AJ said when she was on the verge of leaving, when they job her entrance page and all that kind of stuff. So obviously WWE are making a point that it's equal. They are giving them equal time, which is absolutely fine. If they was going to do a contract signing, I'd have hoped it'd have been Charlotte versus another promising woman, rather than a woman who's been there some years, was part of the PG era that failed, that nobody cared about the women division. Because Natalya she's a heart, she can wrestle, but she doesn't sell. She does not sell. So why are we having it as the end of Monday Night Raw? And it's also making me think, and I am genuinely worried, that they're going to take the title off Charlotte and put it on Natalya. And I don't see the point in it. I think it'd be a complete waste of time. Surely they've got to stick it on Charlotte and let her fight somebody who, when she eventually drops it, to somebody who can carry. I don't believe Natalya can, and I don't for a second. I've got nothing against the girl. I don't rate her. And for me, like I've always keep saying, she's part of the era that didn't, the women's divas era that didn't sell, nobody cares less about. And while they putting them in there, every time, like when me and my friends we used to watch pay-per-views, and it'd be Brie and Nikki versus two other women, we'd just go for a smoke and a drink, because we wouldn't be interested. While they're putting the older ones in there that failed to sell when it was their turn, people are just going to go, oh, women are on, let's go for a fag. Now, if you've got Charlotte or Becky or Paige or Sasha or Bayley, any of that new lot, Dana, Emma, any of them, people would watch, because they're part of an exciting new women's era. This is not selling. I don't care if Natalya was screwed at the last pay-per-view. I don't care if Natalya gets screwed at this pay-per-view. I don't care I do care if Ric Flair's not there, because I'm sick of seeing Ric Flair. I wish he'd go away off my TV, the drunken old fool, and let Charlotte have her own spotlight now. But yeah, I don't know. As I said, I wouldn't have had that as the ending. I'd have had Roman and AJ as the ending, just purely to try and build some hype for the world title match. But anyway, they'd signed the contracts. It was stated in the contract, which Rick and Charlotte spotted, that said basically, if Rick comes down or has any involvement, Charlotte will forfeit the title. So basically, it is going to be Charlotte versus Natalya at Extreme Rules. Fine. Brilliant, no problem. They both signed, end up all falling out. Now, how it got interesting was that Shane and Flair spat his dummy out and started going crazy at Shane, doing all this crap. I'm not kidding, Flair. You're like 190-year-old. Just go away. You look like a fool when you do it. I think maybe that's the point. I think the reason why I wouldn't be surprised if Natalya wins at Extreme Rules is because when he was doing all this and, hitting the ropes and everything, Charlotte was like, Dad, calm down, oh my God, and, basically saying he's a drunken old fool. So it wouldn't surprise me if they take the belt off her and Charlotte blames her dad, and that's how they get rid of Rick. But anyway, Shane's like, Rick, I don't want to fight you. Calm down, I've got too much respect for you. I don't want to make you look bad and things and that. So then Stephanie comes up. Now, this is maybe a sign that the cracks are beginning to show with Stephanie and Shane. I think it'll probably build from that now. But Stephanie comes up with a back to Flair and says to Shane, look, you might have respect for him, but I don't. Bang. And yeah, Shane going, Stephanie, don't do it. Why did you do that? Why did you do that? Oh my God, Ricky, you're all right, and all this lot. And it all basically kicks off, all that kind of stuff. Natalya ends up putting Charlotte in the sharpshooter, which Charlotte's obviously tapping. She ends up stood with a belt above her and all that kind of stuff. It was great. Well, it was fine. I just wouldn't have had that as my ending, that's all. But anyway, that was Monday Night Raw. Oh, apart from the whole Darren Young thing, that can go in the same pile as Del Boro, as well as the Shining Stars. Maybe it'll get funnier. To be fair, it was funnier than last week. I'm just not sold on it yet. So, yeah. So that was Monday Night Raw. I don't think I'm forgetting anything. Nothing major anyway. I don't think there's anything. Extreme Rules. What do I think will happen? I think Kalisto wins. I think Ambrose wins. I think Vaudevillains wins. I think Roman definitely wins. Let's just make a decision on the IC title. I'm probably wrong. I'm probably going with more than what I hope, more than what I think, but I think Zayn wins. I'm going to say Natalya wins. I really am. Yeah, I'm going to say Natalya wins. We'll see. We'll see. But I am looking forward to it to a degree. It's not obviously one of the greatest pay-per-views of the year, but I am quite looking forward to it. I think we'll start... We normally have a 2-3 month lull after WrestleMania where, you know, they just kind of get in the numbers. So I think it'll start picking up again with regards storylines we're proper sold on. I mean, I don't know when Brock's back. Cena's obviously back in a fortnight. I'm not sure when Rollins is back. So we may start seeing a few of these start returning now and a few epic returns and surprises and things like that. So, yeah, maybe. But anyway, they're my predictions for Extreme Rules. Like I say, I wouldn't be surprised with regards to Roman and AJ match if the Wyatts get involved with AJ. That's if they're obviously fit again, because obviously Bray's injured, Rowan's injured, and Harper's injured. Or the last I heard they was anyway. If they're fit, I would say the Wyatts might be involved. If not, it'll probably just be clean, and they'll just move on to the next storyline. So yeah. Anyway, let's call it there, shall we? So we always come to this point where I always say to everybody, thank you very much for watching. I really, really hope you've enjoyed this. I've enjoyed my insight. Don't forget, Extreme Rules is this Sunday live on the WWE Network just for $9.99. So yeah, make sure you watch Extreme Rules. Make sure you enjoy it. With regards to this video, I really, really hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, don't forget to hit that like button. Give me a thumbs up. Let me know that you're enjoying. Please hit the sub button. Don't forget to share it to your friends as well. All the social media, networking, and all that sort of stuff's across the top. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Don't forget, as I say every single week, and we have people lined up soon. It's just there's not as many as I'd hope, but we've got people lined up to come on. This podcast is by a fan, for the fans, with the fans. If you want involvement, all you got to do is contact me on the social medias and say, I want to be on the next show. We have someone on for the Extreme Rules pay-per-view, but you're happy to do Monday Night Raw the night after or things like that. All you got to do is contact me. You are welcome to come on the show. It'd be nice to talk to somebody. It'd be nice to have a bit of banter between us. So please contact me. Come and get your face on YouTube. Come and get your voice on YouTube. Come and get your opinions on YouTube. Why not? I'm on YouTube. Yeah, I might not be hitting millions, but I'm enjoying what I'm doing. And I can say I'm on YouTube. Why don't you come and get on YouTube with me? It'll all be good fun. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I really, really, really hope you've enjoyed. And I will see you Monday with the podcast for Extreme Rules. Moobs out.